So when someone applies for a position on your website and they are uploading their resume, should it be a detailed resume, and how long should it be?
It should be a detailed resume. It should be detailed specifically for that position that they're applying for, and make sure that they do meet the requirements for the position. And then in terms of length, it really depends on the individual, but I would say that they optimally, a 2-page resume should be able to suffice to give a detailed information on how they fit the opportunity.
Now, one of the reasons why you're looking for a detailed resume is mainly because you're using a search function when you're searching your database. So your recruiters are actually looking for specific keywords in these resumes. So having it detailed would have those keywords, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. The recruiters are looking for certifications, years of experience. Also in our industry with the clearances, we're looking at the clearances to see if they have the required clearance to meet the opportunity.
When a job seeker is called for a first interview, who will they meet with, and what is their process when they interview with General Dynamics?
Well, after the individual is identified, we do call them and screen them to make sure that they fit the other areas of the position that might not be covered on their resume, in terms of commuting distance, where the position's located, make sure it's within their commuting range. Compensation, gain an idea of where they are now in terms of compensation and where their desired compensation, to make sure that this position will fit their needs.
So after the first screening interview, which is done over the phone, then there is a face-to-face interview. How does that process work? How many people will they meet with? How long is that first interview?
Again, it will depend. Some of the interviews for us are done at our regional offices. Other interviews are done on site, supporting where we are supporting our customer. They will be meeting with a hiring manager, the decision maker in the process, as well as potentially some tech leads, and potentially a recruiter as well.
After a first interview, how would you recommend a job seeker follow up with you for that interview?
That's a good question, because that's something that many candidates forget to do. After an interview, it's essential that they make another contact with everyone that they met with. The best way to do that is at the end of the interview to ask for a business card. With those business cards, they can follow up with either a letter or even an email address if they want to do it quickly. But follow-up is key, and they need to get that done within the next day or two.
So from what I'm hearing you saying, you don't receive many thank you notes or thank you cards after an interview process. Is it something you would like to see?
Absolutely. It is very few, small percentage of candidates that do actually follow up. But we look at that and consider that part of the process. And if we don't hear back from them, our feeling is that they might not be interested in the position. So it's showing their commitment to the opportunity.
After the follow-up and after this initial interview, what is the process to the next stage of the hiring process? And what are your recommendations to a job seeker as far as their participation? I mean, should they call after a week? Should they email after a week? This is a question we get a lot from job seekers.
Well, after they send a thank you note or a recognition of the of the interview, there should be a contact coming back from the recruiter with them, and that should be done within a week's time. They can follow up with the recruiter if they don't hear within a week, and ask for a progress report on where the process is at.
And in this day and age of electronics and voicemail and everything, what is the recommended follow-up? Is it a phone call? Is it an email? Is it both?
Any. Yeah,
okay.
Follow-up, communication is key. And we're open to emails or letters coming through the U.S. Postal Service or whatever, even a phone call. But it is important that there is follow-up and communication, not only coming from the recruiters, but also coming from the applicant themselves.
At what point or points during the discussions with a candidate do you discuss salary?
We will discuss salary right during the screening process. We need to know where their candidate currently is and what their desires are in terms of salary, compensation, benefits. And from there, we will discuss it as we go through the process, just make sure that nothing has changed. We know candidates are not only looking at General Dynamics as a company, but also other organizations. So we want to make sure that their salary has not differed from when our first conversation.
So when is the final salary discussion handled, and with whom is that discussed?
The final salary discussion or negotiating happens after the interview, when a decision has been made to pursue the candidate.
So after you've interviewed a candidate for a position and they are not selected for that particular position, but the candidate is interested in working for General Dynamics, what would you recommend be their next steps?
I'd recommend that they continue applying for other positions on our website. Even though they were not selected for that one opportunity, that doesn't mean that they're not going to be a match for other opportunities with our organization. So I would tell the candidate, don't give up. Continue making contact with us, applying for jobs, communicating with their recruiter, and finding out what other opportunities are coming available in the future.
So when you're recommending people keep in contact with the recruiter that they've met with, what is an average sort of follow-up process? Should candidates send an email once a week, once a month? This is a question we get from a lot of job seekers. How much is enough follow-up with a recruiter?
Well, I think once a month would be fine. However, they should be visiting the website on an ongoing basis. New positions are coming out daily, so they should be reviewing those opportunities, and they can do that through a job search component where they can put their criteria on what type of opportunity they would be interested in. And when that does come available, they would get an email sent to them saying, we have a new opportunity, please look at this position and see if it might be a fit for you.